Middleweight champion Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Adesanya, former two-time middleweight champ, 16 of his 24 wins by knockout. And
Jesus Christ, this man just does not care anymore. So as many of you astute MMA fans know, Dana White is the promoter and large shareowner of the UFC. So you'd think one of the faces of the UFC, whose job isn't just to maintain it, but also promote the UFC, would have a bit more passion and heart in this game. Now, before I go on to what is honestly more of a rant than anything else, I just want to preface this. Dana helped build the most successful MMA promotion of all time. When you say MMA, most people will look at you awkwardly, but if you say UFC, they'll instantly know what you're talking about. The only MMA thing more popular than the UFC is probably Conor McGregor.
the reigning, defending, 155-pound champion of the UFC, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Dana White took a small failing business into promotion that has now just signed a $7.7 billion rights deal. He took risks and stood up for his fighters and sport. And there have been some pretty heartwarming stories about Dana helping people. Now, of course, there also been some pretty bad stories. Now, it of course wasn't all him, but he was the face of most of it. And you can't doubt that if it wasn't for him, the UFC wouldn't be in the same place it is today. But nowadays, all he does is turn on Instagram, turn on his 480p phone camera, and announces fights with less enthusiasm than school announcements. I mean, are you telling me you really had to read off a script to talk about Israel Adesanya? Oh yes, one of the biggest stars in the UFC after a year-long layoff is finally back and fighting Joe Pyfer, who's making his own splash in the scene. I get being excited about announcing a WMA co-main, but Jesus man, you just signed a $7.7 billion deal. Did none of the Paramount executives see any of this? How is this okay? Are you telling me you couldn't have announced these fights next week at the 324 press conference? Most fights are leaked a bit beforehand, or we tend to have an idea of somewhat of what's coming up. You're telling me you really couldn't just have waited a week, had an intern couple together some highlights, and make a proper announcement? No, I don't think so. The UFC's marketing is so garbage and almost non-existent. They push Nina Drama to pretend like they have some kind of social media presence, but if this isn't the most soulless of corporate marketing I've ever seen, I'm not here to hate too much on Nina, as I'll take it over literal non-existent marketing with so many hashtags I scroll away in disgust. It's crazy to me how Dana didn't even bother to mention the fact that Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes is out due to Kayla needing surgery on a disc in her neck. The UFC must have known before we did. How was none of this important enough?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I had to have surgery on my neck yesterday here in New York City with the specialist, Dr. Kim. Yeah, so in lieu of that, obviously we're gonna have to reschedule the fight.
I really hope Kayla can pull through this, and I genuinely wish her a speedy recovery. She seems like a genuinely great person, and I wouldn't even wish this on John Jones' #1 fan. One of the few WMA fights that's guaranteed to be a banger and one I'm really excited for. This pullout also caused Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong to be the co-main of the event, which is fair, a pretty exciting fight with a guaranteed knockout. Which is also kind of funny since when the card was announced, Sean O'Malley mentioned how he wasn't even co-main material anymore.
You see the news? Kayla Harrison's out. Co-main? Me? You! Seriously? I'm the co-main. UFC 324! I'm the co-main!
Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I'm not even the co-main, dude. I am falling off hard. This is, god damn it. This is...
I seen that.
This was me. This is me. What's next? Prelims? Fuck.
Getting back into the topic, Dana White recently did an interview with some random ass channel that has led many to believe to what has been becoming more and more true over the past couple of years. Dana's heart just isn't in the game anymore.
You got Volk Lopez 2. Some people, I guess, maybe were questioning why there was a rematch when the first fight felt a little decisive on Volk's behalf.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Wow, great advice, Dana. Instead of paying for it, I'll stream it instead on the thousands of free and easily found websites to watch these fights on. Jesus Christ, man, a grown-ass man is acting like a fucking diva. Instead of defending his choice by saying how the fight rankings and the timing made the most sense, you could just tell the truth and say you wanted to see Diego as a champion. Hell, you could lie and say this is the badass fights fans wanted to see.
Then my final question for Dana. Dana, straight ahead. Like I said, Merab could have had his pick against any of these bantamweight contenders. So for you, why was this the fight that you felt should have been made?
This is the fight that people wanted to see. Except for these 6 guys over here.
Dana has been building a lot of bad faith with MMA fans over the past couple of years, and I think it's really turned into a lot of negativity. And to be fair, the MMA game is ruthless, and a large vocal part of the fan base is just so angry that even if Dana did turn everything around, I still think it would take a fair while for everyone to gain their trust back. But let's be honest, he's not going to do that. Dana will just keep talking about Power Slap and Zuffa boxing and gambling with paychecks of his own fighters like he isn't going through his own midlife crisis. As we've been talking about this video, Dana just doesn't care about the UFC anymore. I think he cares more about the money than anything else, which is valid for someone who's trying to keep their business afloat and addiction afloat. But the passion for fights and matchups just isn't even there anymore. Just look at the interview Dana gave back in ESPN in 2018. This is not the same Dana we have now.
The ESPN deal. So if you had all the potential broadcast partners on the list, was ESPN and all their platforms number one on that list for you?
Obviously, if you look at, ESPN wouldn't cover us, not too long ago, and now we're on ESPN. We're in business with Disney. It's probably the most monumental thing that has happened in the history of this company, in the history of the sport, for everyone. It's big. I don't care how you're involved in this sport. This deal that we just cut is big.
Dana now just gives me the vibes of someone who's high on their own fumes and someone who thinks they're a big badass. He used to promote fighters, take risks, either promote the sport and its fighters or leave. It's embarrassing seeing this. Waiting for an announcement of Dana to go live, only for it to be through his fucking DS Lite and the enthusiasm of an early ejaculation. Conor McGregor! All of that being said, I don't think anything in the fight announcements will change. Not even for a multi-billion-dollar deal. Anyways, what do you guys think? Is Dana still the man he was before, or do I just sound like a petty ex-girlfriend? Is Dana too high on Trump's fumes? And will Dana White slap his wife in 2026? The odds are looking pretty good. Leave a comment with your thoughts down below. And if you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you filthy casuals in the next one. Peace!
What was your reaction when you saw Alex and Tracy go official on Instagram?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
No?
No.
That doesn't, you're not even like, oh, I knew this was happening, or I don't care, or like...
No, I don't care.